Good morning. So we'll start off with an introduction, starting off with Carter, with your present team, where you're at, what your situation is with the New York Jets, and from being from Paterson.
How y'all doing today? My name is Carter Warren from Paterson, New Jersey. I play for the New York Jets. I'm going in my second year. Last year I was a rookie. That was a tough one for me, but yeah, I'm rolling now, man. We good. So appreciate y'all for having me.
Straight out of Norman Square in the Mustang.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mike Adams, Pops. I played in the NFL for 16 years, coaching with the New York Giants right now.
Yeah, you are.
I knew it was coming. Coach with the New York Giants, and I'm a Patersonian, so glad to be here.
My name is Victor Cruz. I played for the New York Giants for 7 years. Super Bowl champion in 2011, 2012.
That was good.
And yeah, man, a true Patersonian. I love Paterson to the death of me, and I'm honored to be here on this panel.
Where'd you go to high school?
Paterson Catholic High School.
Sorry about that. We went to Passaic County Tech.
Yes, sir.
Ode Bushi here. Currently finished my 10th season with the Rams. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but my brother's city council for Paterson. So we're all about making the community come together. And here we are. Hopefully we're up here now.
Gary Dash. I don't play sports at all. My sport is finance. I've been a businessman most of my life. I've been blessed and fortunate enough to be coming to these events in Paterson for over 20 years now. That means I'm real old. Actually, over 25 years. So I'm truly thankful to be on the stage and have an opportunity to talk to you gentlemen.
I'll get it started. I'm not a retired coach yet. I didn't officially retire, but I've been coaching for almost 40 years. Football, baseball here in Paterson and Hackensack. And I'm currently a state assemblyman for the state of New Jersey, former councilman, and a director of recreation. But and we'll start off with Mike and Vic. You guys have been in the league, retired. Your civic obligation, you know what's going on in the city of Paterson. Everything from, losing outstanding people like Armani Sexton to senseless gun violence, Nasre Bug, Genesis Rincon, the list goes on and on. What is your obligation to our community when it comes to awareness of violence and things of that nature here in the city of Paterson? As an athlete.
Yeah, as an athlete, I think for me personally is coming back here and just doing different things and giving back. I think that's the biggest thing, is showing that someone can come from this area, can come from Paterson, that can do well and reach, the pinnacle of it in their respective sport and still come back and be one of us, one of them, and see themselves in me and what I do. So I do as many camps as I can. I give back through my foundation. I try to do as much as I can out there in the world. Everything I do, the first thing I think about is how can my kids from Paterson benefit from this? And I think the more that I give back, the more positive role models that you see or that they see before them, like the people you see up here on this panel, the more they can try to steer away from the negativity and stay in the positive light and stay down the path of what we're doing up here and what we're trying to do. And then as they continue to grow and move forward, they can then give back. And then that creates the cycle of positivity that can keep kids potentially off the streets and keep kids out of gun violence, and understanding that there's more out there than just being in the streets after hours, getting into trouble.
Hey, Pop, I think same question to you, and coming from the 4th Ward, School 6, being in the neighborhood and still being in the neighborhood, what is your obligation, or what do you think it is? Even a message to our up-and-coming young athletes.
Just to piggyback a little bit, I think just being tangible, coming in the neighborhood and coming around, actually just doing events like this so you can see that we are real and we came from the same situations, maybe worse, maybe better off, but at the same time, we can show up every day. We can come every day, but at the end of the day, you have to show up too and tell your cousin, your uncle, your friend to come, because these seats should be full. There should be more people here. that's how we stop it. It's not just us. We can contribute. We can show our face. We can do all this stuff. We can do all the events to get the kids off the streets. But at the end of the day, we need your help too. So that's the way I see it.
All right. And Carter, in your second year in the NFL, coming from Paterson, what are your plans as far as working in the community and maybe some of the stuff that has been done in the past when you were a kid?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I grew up going to Victor Cruz's camps, Pop's camps, you know, and just being there and seeing them, and being from Paterson, seeing that I could make it to those heights and playing in the NFL, it definitely gave me a lot of ambition, you know, to do stuff on my own when it's time. You know, so it's coming up soon. I'm working on it, and we'll have plans for the future on all that.
Okay.
It's crazy, Coach, seeing it's a full circle moment for me, man, because I remember him being at my camps, and it makes me feel old just him being here, and he's double my size now, and he's out there wreaking havoc on a football field. So this is a true full circle moment for me. So I would just hope that we can be positive role models for you and continue to be that. So if you ever have any questions, you ever have anything you want to pick our brains about, I'm still here just like I was back then as a vessel for you to learn from and grow through.
Appreciate that.
All right, Darren, we'll shift gears over to you.
So my question is, let me start with you, David. My question is for the whole panel, and it's interesting that we have this whole 360 degrees. For mental health, how has your relationships been impacted throughout your career as you've become more popular, you know, and gotten identified by people as the man or the next guy? Your relationships with your friends, your family, your relationships with females, how has that been impacted from where you started to recognize that you're different and identified to now where you've been active in the league? And then I'd love to hear the perspective of coming out of the league. How has that changed and how has that been impacted and how have you had to deal with that and adjust?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, you know, being in the league and being in the spotlight, you know, you are the example of what it should be. I think when it comes to my personal relationships, to business relationships, to financial relationships, everything's held with utmost respect. I mean, I treat people the way I want to be treated at the end of the day, and I think us being in this position, you know, like Vic just mentioned, you become a vessel for a lot of people. You become the standard, you become the go-to person for a lot of people's relationships, problems, success, and things of that sort. So I think being in that position to know that where you work comes with a lot of responsibility, and who you are, and who you become, and who around you affects that tremendously. And ultimately, when you do become in a position of success or a position to lead or be a vessel for people, you take that responsibility with utmost respect. You know, you give people a time of day, whether they're your family, whether they could be the custodian, they could be the chef in the facility. For me, coming into the league was always a beautiful experience because I've always made it a point to try to treat everybody from the GM to the head coach, to the guy unloading the equipment, to the guys cleaning the field or whatever it is, with the same kind of respect and candidity that they would appreciate and treat back. So being in your position is one thing, but being able to elevate everyone that's around you because of that is something special.
I'm gonna send it over to Pop because he's been retired a lot longer than I have.
Shots fired. So what I would like to say about that is, like, when you're playing, you get all types of endorsements, you get all types of friends, you get love, you get all of that. But what people don't realize, when you retire, mental health is a big thing in the NFL and athletes because you lose all of that stuff. You don't have the same endorsements. You lose vitamin water, you lose the watch, you lose walking in the front of the club, you lose all of that stuff. You lose friends, you lose family, nobody want to call you no more, nobody come to the games, you don't have that anymore. You know, so some athletes try to seek and find that camaraderie somewhere, you know, and a lot of guys get lonely. God bless his soul, the guy from the kid from the Giants, Corey, great kid, and always went out with the guys. Every time the O-line had a O-line dinner, they brought him, but no one knew what he was really going through. He missed the game, he missed being around people, he missed the phone call, hey, how you doing? Not, can I have some money, but how you doing? You know, so for me, and I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second, I got a therapist and I speak to her every Wednesday, faithfully, every Wednesday, just to make sure I'm good. because, like I said, you lose a lot and people don't realize how much you lose. They think you're making the same money, or you got the same friends, or you're hanging out with the same, but all of that stuff stops. Everything stops. So.
Yeah, that's true, and I can attest to that, especially being retired. I've been retired now the same amount of years that I've been playing, so seeing the full opposite side of that has been interesting, mainly because a lot of these people think that you still, like Pop said, they still think you make the same money, right? And a lot of it is, your friends is one thing, but your family members as well. I think they lose that perception of that you're retired and that you have to start living by your means now, and that you're not making, you know, however many million per year anymore. In fact, you're probably making a third of that now, if any, because now, think about it, you've been playing a sport since you were probably 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and never really thought about what your future was going to be outside of that. And then now it's cut at a very young age, and you have to figure out what you're going to do. And if you didn't create a plan and you didn't have things in place while you were playing to kind of prepare yourself for that next level, when it's over, it's over. And you have to figure out how to maintain yourself, figure out how to create income for yourself, figure out how to pay those same bills that you were paying before, which a lot of guys, as we know, have downgraded their homes and live differently now because they have to. And it's not because they're broke, so to speak, but it's because now they have to start living with their means and what money that they have saved up until this point. And a lot of those guys retire younger than 30 years old, younger than 35 years old, which is still a lifetime ahead of you. So I think it's about being realistic about who you are, being realistic about knowing what to do afterwards, and being realistic with your friends and family and understanding that, look, I ain't got it the way I used to. We have to treat this differently, and the money I do have, we have to be smart with so that it lasts until I'm 60, 65, and until this is over, because, you know, if I don't got it, we ain't got it. And we have to understand that that's the realness of how this is, and mental health is one of the realest things. I struggled the first couple months and first, 6 months when I retired. I didn't, them phone calls stopped. You watching the TV, you watching these games, missing the guys. Not so much, the practices, but the camaraderie, the locker room, the game day, that feel of going to battle with your friends, and your family. I never joined a fraternity because the football team was always my fraternity. These guys are people you see more than your own family. So, separating from that and being a hard axe cut to that lifestyle was tough for me to handle. And I have a therapist also. I talk to Judy every single week. Well, I talk to her more than I talk to my mother sometimes, because we gotta have real conversations and just real things that I'm going through. And that's a real thing that is not talked about enough, I feel like, at the next level.
No, I agree with you on that. So like I said, last year was my rookie year. I got in, I got my playbook, and I seen about 50 to 100 plays, and it's just stuff I had to learn in a matter of a week. And, dealing with that was really tough. I had a tough coach at the time, he was on my ass every second of the day, and I didn't know how to deal with it. Anxiety was whooping my ass, and it was tough. So I had to, take over that anxiety, meet with a therapist, to really help me out. And I say I've been doing better ever since, so. Sure.
Good. It's good to hear that, people can hear your vulnerability, and even the panelists beforehand, that everybody needs somebody to talk to, and that's important. And as we move into the 2024 election and political involvement and not being partisan, Republican or Democrat, this is probably one of the most important elections of our lifetime. In the city of Paterson, we have 85,000 registered voters, and I believe 12,000 came out for our city council elections. But everybody's concerned about infrastructure, about housing, about healthcare. How do we get people involved? And you think about the importance and the voice. You think about the voice when Obama ran. Vic, I was with you when Obama, you were one of the surrogates, and we went to opportunities and Bush. How do we get the word out that your vote matters? And it's important. And Vic, I'm gonna start because I know you worked on the Obama campaign.
Yeah, I did. I did some work with Obama, going to different cities and just spreading the word to get people registered to vote. I think that's the biggest thing. Is I always just preach education. Educate yourselves on what's out there. Educate yourselves on the different candidates. Educate yourself on what it means to be a registered voter, to have that power. That's a real thing. You have a real voice in the community when you do that. And that's what it's all about. It's about educating yourself on all the matters that are out there, right? It's a crazy time that we live in right now. And the most we can do, it ain't about choosing what party you're from or who you want to vote for. It's about educating yourself and knowing what the world could potentially look like 5, 10, 15 years from now that may not affect you immediately, but it's going to affect your kids. It's going to affect their kids. So it's important to educate yourselves on everything that's out there and get out on the forefront of it, get registered to vote so that you have a voice in this community and you have a voice in your neighborhood. Because trust me, being registered and making that vote count and making it matter, it just goes a long way. And you might not see the changes right there in front of you, but your children will, and your children's children will, 100%.
And I know both of you are girl dads, and you know, the female issues that face an election that as an elected official, I think we have no right to tell a woman what to do with her body or anything. But as a father, how important is it for you to educate your daughters on what's coming on in elections and the people here in the city of Paterson and the impact that it will have for generations?
That's huge. I think for me, like, I'm agreeing 100%. Like, your choice, your body, you know. And to get the word out, and it starts like what Vic said, the educational part. If you don't know, you don't know, right? And I guess to get more people to vote, we got to go old school. Let's start knocking on people's doors. Let's go door to door. Hey, are you registered? Would you like to register right now? Hey, the vote is Tuesday. All right, I'll be back on Monday to make sure. Like, we got to have a street team. We got to have people coming out. Not just Instagram, not just Facebook, not just your signs standing on people's lawns. Let's do more. Let's go back old school, knocking on people's doors.
Okay. And as current NFL players, you see the NFL players very active in the political, you know, be it Republican, be it Democrat. What's the message that should be sent as a current NFL player?
I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think when people think of elections, they think of just the big election, right? Your presidential election, maybe your governor election, but I think for communities who really want a true impact, I think people need to go out there and be just as interested in the presidential election as it is as their local mayor election, as their local city council, or chief of staff, or anybody getting elected in your city who's having a direct impact in your schools or your healthcare system is something to also get involved with, and also make sure you're registered to vote in that aspect, because ultimately, who do you have a better chance in getting in touch with, the president or maybe your mayor? Who do you have a better chance of getting in touch with, the mayor or maybe someone's in charge of your local ward here in Paterson, right? So I think it's important to, like Vic said, to really educate yourself on what's happening in your community, not just what's happening in America. And it really starts, I say, from the bottom up. When you elect who you want in your community, they're forced for a bigger change than in your state, and then your state is what you want it to be. It could become America at some point. But I think giving just as much respect and attention you would to the presidential election as your local election is huge for a lot of guys and a lot of communities.
All right. And Carter, I'll finish you with that last question. As a new young guy involved, what are your plans as far as getting people civically involved here in your city?
Definitely. I just feel like, man, we need change in the city. Paterson is a beautiful city. We got to cut all the gun violence and all the nonsense, man. I want to see change, and I'll start with myself. You know, we're doing a little camps. You know, helping out with the kids. You know, just being around them. You know, just inspiring them. You know, to reach new levels, new heights. You know, to be great. And yep, that's what I'm voting for. Yep.
Darren?
So I want to talk to the men in the room, the young men and the older men in the room, the leadership. And I've been really blessed and fortunate in my life to be around strong men and very successful men. Men from the street that came from nothing and made it, sold their businesses for hundreds of millions of dollars. Educated men who've gone in and contributed and had their own success. The one word that I would say that men need to hear today, and that they don't understand the level that it takes that you live every day in your life and have had to live to get to where you are currently and now post your career, is the word discipline. Tenacity, commitment, vulnerability, brotherhood. But when you talk about the word discipline, can you guys speak to the level of discipline that you've had to have in your life to get to where you are currently, and how that discipline has translated into your post-career and where you are today, and how you have to lean on that, and what message would you give to these young men about discipline and how important that is in the impact on your life?
Yeah, I could leave with that one. I think discipline. I mean, think about it, right? All of us have played a sport up here from a very young age, and some of them are still playing, right? And you know, and I retired at 30 years old. So think about it. I was playing football from when I was 9 years old to 30. That in itself takes a significant amount of discipline, because there's days where you can't go out with your friends on a Friday night because you got a game on Saturday. There's times where you're gonna miss that party, you're gonna miss that dance, you're gonna miss going out with this girl, or you're gonna miss there's things that you're gonna miss throughout your childhood that's gonna take a real amount of discipline for you to make it to this level that you wanna make it to make it to the NFL. There's a kid, I remember Kyle Anderson, right? Y'all might see him in the playoffs right now playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I remember when he was 6 years old running around Paterson gyms with a basketball in his hand, and there was not a single time that I saw him from the age of 5 up until now without a basketball. I'm talking about the basketball was bigger than him at some points. And he was still dribbling, running around, dribbling that ball, half times, timeouts, he's shooting. And now he's playing in the NBA in the playoffs with Anthony Edwards, one of the best players in the world. So it takes that level of discipline to make it to where you are, to make it to the pinnacle of whatever field you want to be in. It doesn't have to be sports, right? You want to be a doctor, you got to study your craft each and every day. You find doctors that are in your field that you want to look up to, guys that are groundbreaking in that field. It doesn't just have to be the sports world, right? So I think it's that level of discipline. And two words that kind of come to mind are work ethic. I think work ethic goes beyond measure. I always talk about that because I remember being in high school and being in college, there were guys that were better than me. And I'm sure all of us could point out guys that were better than us at some points, but we had a different level of work ethic. We knew that we had to work harder. We had to outwork certain guys to get to where we wanted to go. And that was something that we hung our hats on. We might not be the fastest, jump the highest, but we're gonna outwork you. We're gonna know that playbook better than you. We're gonna know what we're gonna need to do better than you. I knew all receiver positions. I knew everybody's routes. I'd be in the meetings like, oh, you're supposed to run a curl, and you didn't. And I'm on the other side of the field. Like, those things really separated me from other athletes out there that were bigger, stronger, and faster. And then now how I apply that, now that I'm in retirement and now I'm on the other side of the coin, is I play a lot of golf. I play a lot of golf because it clears my mental health. It still gives me that camaraderie. It's a sport that is very, very difficult, so I have to just use my brain in different ways. I can still have fun doing it, but it just puts me in a different space, in a football atmosphere, in that locker room type atmosphere, without guys like Pop coming to hit me across the middle. So I play a lot of golf, which gives me kind of all of those things encompassing. And I still provide that same level of discipline to my world, right? So I still do a lot of things outside of the football space. I'm still talking ball on Fox Sports 1 and different networks, and it takes discipline to learn the craft. Right now, I go from playing it to talking it. So I got to know what all teams are doing, not just the Giants. And that discipline of understanding what these teams are doing, having those conversations, and applying that, live on television isn't always the easiest thing. So having that discipline and instilling that early on just helped me transition that to my post-career as well.
Discipline. That was one of the main things I live by, self-discipline, the ability to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. And I think that goes a long way, because with this discipline, people forget about this other word, sacrifice. In order to be successful, someone has to be sacrificed, right? In order to be successful. Whether that's, I can't spend time with the family, I can't go out and party, I can't finish this assignment. Something has to be sacrificed in order for you to be great. You just don't be great overnight. I mean, you go to the gym, you work out. So my thing was, coming out of University of Delaware, I had to get up 5:30 in the morning to drive an hour and a half to work out, to train. Drive back, be back at class by 9 o'clock, and then go work out again at 12. That was 3 days a week for me, driving an hour and a half. In order to be successful, you have to give up something, and you have to sacrifice something. Something has to be sacrificed. You have to let something go, because you have to put in the work. It's not going to happen overnight. It just won't happen overnight. And with all that being said, it's just discipline isn't in between that. You sacrifice something, that means you're disciplined at it, right? Like you're being disciplined, you're getting up. Like I had a regimen plan in the NFL. Sunday, after the game, Monday, I'm getting a massage. Tuesday, I'm getting ART. Wednesday, I'm getting dry needle. Thursday, I'm getting a massage. Friday, I'm getting a chiropractor. That was like clockwork every day. And if I miss one of them, I'm off. My whole thing is off. Consistency is another thing with discipline. All of this stuff is tied together in order to be successful. You gotta be consistent in what you do. How you play 16 years, how you do this, how you do that. Like, God bless me, you gotta be lucky, but I never had a major surgery in my 16-year career, right? And that's because I stayed consistent on what I'm doing. I'm not saying don't live your life and don't party, don't go out and don't do this and don't, I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying at your craft, at whatever you want to do, just be consistent at it.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, and we're getting the wrap up sign. We'll start off with Carter all the way down. Before we wrap up, the work you guys, and particularly the older guys, you're the older guys now, ain't that something, Vic and Bob? The give back to the city of Paterson is unbelievable. Like, these guys have literally probably given millions of dollars back to the city of Paterson through camps, through Christmas giveaways, through holiday giveaways, through free speaking engagements, you name it. I personally want to thank you because I see the impact when I see Carter sitting here now. And I knew Carter since Carter was this big, and now he's with the Jets in the NFL. So your last message of advice to our young men out here, briefly, just give one point of advice, just something brief.
I say just keep going. Whatever you're doing, you know, whether that be football, basketball, baseball, I say just put your head down, keep working, and you'll be where you want to be in the future. So.
For me, control the controllables. You can control three things. You can control your attitude, you can control the way you prepare, and you can control your effort. And that's with everything. Schoolwork, and athletics.
Hey, Pops, you're gonna be a real good coach, man. I see how the coach is here. Give Pops a round of applause, please. That's his energy, and he coaching my favorite team. So.
If I had him, I'd make him run all day. I tell you that.
For me, I think I preached on it a little bit earlier. It's work ethic, man. Well, no matter what you're getting into, no matter what sport it is, there's gonna be people better than you. There's gonna be guys that you look up to, that you're gonna need to outwork. In any capacity, at any stage, make sure that your work ethic is always top notch, because that's gonna get you even further along in life. So work ethic.
I'll just leave you guys with this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, everyone who's had success in this world never took the easy route. Always went through hard times, went through tough situations, took multiple hits on the way up. But one thing that made them way to the top was that consistency of having them knowing that it's a journey. The success is in the journey, not so much the destination. When people, you know, when we got to the league, when I got to the NFL, for me, it wasn't like, wow, I made it to the league. For me, it was appreciating the long hours working out in the morning, staying all summer long in classes instead of coming home and seeing the family, sacrificing birthdays. And I mean, as a schedule in the NFL, we're locked up pretty much 7 days a week. We get a Tuesday off, which is a super random day. Everyone's busy, but we're missing graduations, off day, but get your list in. But there's so many opportunities for people to quit, and the world makes it okay for people to quit, and it's not okay. I think as men, I think of people who want to make a difference in the community and the world, for your families, I think it's important to struggle and make it through the struggle, because you will be better for it moving forward and in the end game.
Darren, any last words?
No, I just want to say I salute you guys. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this, and for standing in front of these young men and old men. And, you know, God bless you, and I wish you continued success in your life.
Yep, and I will leave this to quote Mr. Moody. I see Chief Moody out here. To the young people out here, be corny for the first 28 years of your life. Be real corny.
Be corny.
Be corny, no immediate gratification, no partying, no heavy spending on money, jewelry, and cars. After that, things get better. God bless.
Yes, the best party is success. The best party is success.
I love that. I'm corny right now.
Oh yeah.
Iconic picture right there.
There you go. Hey.
I got
Round of applause again, y'all, for these gentlemen up there. Thank you guys, man. Thank you.
Trying to get the Texan game.